Hello and welcome, Joshua. Hello and welcome,
Hello.
bug catchers, to Experience Share. It's a Pokemon podcast starring me, Mil Tanner,
Miltank.
aka Tanner Greenring, and I am
I
joined.
hesitated to invoke the name of such a demonic beast.
I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Farfjelcht.
Farfjelcht.
That's
Yeah.
a bad one.
That's pretty. It sounds like a really bad hangover. Like, oh, I had a really rough night and I'm just Farfjelching.
Farfjelcht. I don't know how I never found that one before our 8th game featuring Farfetch'd as a character.
It must be inspired by when I made you say in Fjelnape.
Ugh, yeah. That's why you gotta leave it to the pros, Josh.
Yeah, I learned my lesson.
This is a Pokemon podcast where we play through each Pokemon game, gym by gym, week by week. We are currently in Season 4B, playing through Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and we are en route to Gym 3,
Yes.
Whitney.
Whitney.
You and I have a long, complicated history with Whitney.
Yeah, it's really what set us down this dark path, Whitney.
Yeah, our show was pure as the driven snow before the fateful Season 2 episode where we took on Whitney. And by took on, I mean took on.
Yeah.
It's a mental load that you never quite shake off. That's going to be with me until my deathbed.
I remember it was shortly after the subreddit was founded, and probably my favorite comment I've ever seen, at least about anything that I've been related to on Reddit, was that someone was just popping off in a thread and they go, that episode with Whitney where they're just talking about Pokemon and then suddenly go into talking about Miltanks with giant dicks and them being milked, was the wildest heel turn I've ever experienced on a podcast. And I was like, we're on to something here.
It's been all downhill since then.
And that's where Fur Affinity Check came from. And we haven't been able to put that genie back in the bottle ever since.
It awoken something inside of me.
Yeah.
And now I can't go a single day without someone tweeting me and being like, haha, you're horny for Pokemon. It's like, no, I'm not. I'm horny for a Pokemon. And it's called Lopunny.
Right. It's only Lopunny now.
Yeah.
It's the object of your desires.
Josh, we took on Whitney this week.
Kind of like a city slicker leg. We spent most of our time in Goldenrod.
Oh, yeah. I've got a Goldenrod.
Yeah, I was just waiting for that one. I was like, I'm not going to say it. I don't need to be associated with it. It's not my brand.
We should set up, put a little disclaimer on the episode, because it's been sort of a wild couple days for us.
Oh, yeah.
In podcasting adventures.
The bug catchers don't know what's coming.
It's spring break.
Woo!
In Connecticut.
Boo.
So my son is home from daycare.
Yeah.
Boo. It sucks. So we packed up the car and drove to my wife's parents' place in New York. Not city, state.
Mm-hmm.
I packed up my mic and I've got my whole mobile rig ready. And we tried to record last night, but the only room that was available was like their HVAC room. And it sounded like I was recording in a turbine engine of a 747. So all we did was record the ad.
Yeah.
And our battle. So we've actually already battled. We flipped a coin yesterday and it came up heads. So Josh and I battled.
Yeah.
You'll hear that at the end of the episode. There's a lot of weird time paradoxes in this one.
Yeah, it starts getting layered. It's like a little of a three-body problem kind of a situation.
It's present us for you.
Right.
And future us for us.
To us, according to
but past us for us too.
Who were recording yesterday.
It's yesterday's past and yesterday's future as well.
I wonder if we had been able to record the episode, the whole thing last night, if we'd be in a totally different situation today.
It's the butterfly effect, man.
That kind of a thing could have changed our whole lives today.
I'm glad we didn't, because like one of us could have easily died.
That's true.
Meteor could have come shooting through our roof and just incinerated us.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm glad we ended up where we're at. So we're recording here. It's a Wednesday night, and I'm in a home with my wife and her parents, and it's quiet hours. So I'm not going to be as belligerent, I think, as usual.
Okay, you think.
Yeah. But I'll still, I'll get down.
All right.
I'll get wild. I don't care.
Okay. Well, it sounds like the belligerence is already bubbling up to the surface.
Oh, yeah. I almost can't help it. Joshua, we started our journey this week in Azalea Town.
Yep.
We just got done taking on Bugsy, the bug boss.
Old Bugsy.
We both beat him pretty easily. Mm-hmm. Now we're on our way to Route 34.
No, Ilex
Forest.
Forest.
You didn't. No. You didn't do Ilex Forest.
So you skipped ahead and you did the far-fetched side quest in Ilex Forest. Mm-hmm. I did it for the first time.
Pretty fun now, right?
Way better than in the original. The original was just you're corralling them around. One of them, right? It's just one.
Yeah. One in the last game, two in this one.
It's two in this one, and it's over to the east, and it's in a different area that they built out in Ilex Forest. And there's little twigs and sticks on the ground.
Yeah.
And if you step on them, then it will trigger the Farfetch'd to look in that direction. And so you have to strategically figure out the ones that you should step on in order to make the Farfetch'd look there. And then you need to
sneak around,
then maneuver around to sneak up on it. It was cool.
It's good. It's fun. The first one is easy just to teach you the rules. And then the second one's pretty challenging.
Yeah.
It took me longer than I care to admit.
It saw me once, and I had to do it a couple more times. It also made the entire Ilex Forest feel a lot larger and like a winding, scary woods. Like it should feel like,
Yeah.
Plus you get little patches of sunlight
it's beautiful.
Stream through the canopy of the trees. Really good.
I know I say this every gen, but I feel like this is the best game so far. It's just so polished. It's so clean. The mechanics are so good. They took everything that didn't work about Gold and Silver and made them work. It's just it's so dang fun. I was telling this to Josh off mic the other day, but it's the first time in a while where I am genuinely excited to pick up my Game Boy and play.
Same.
Most of the time it's I gotta get through the leg, but this time it's just man, I'm so excited to keep playing. And I don't know if it's because of Nuzlocke. Nuzlocke is exciting because it's who am I gonna get?
Never know what you're gonna get.
But it's also just it's such a good game. It's so well polished. I like it.
Me too.
You beat the Farfetch quest. You catch the two Farfetch-eye.
Well, you return them to
some crony of the charcoal maker.
Yeah, that's right. The charcoal maker's apprentice.
You return to him, and then the charcoal maker comes and greets you, and he's like, "Oh, thank you. Please have this HM cut."
It's confusing because you can get charcoal eventually from these people.
If you go back to his house, he'll give you charcoal because he's actually the charcoal master because he's cutting trees to make charcoal.
Yeah, well, they call it the cutting master, but it's the charcoal master, really.
Imagine that, mastering an art form just to make charcoal. Seems like a waste of talent to me.
Yeah.
The other interesting thing that happens in Ilex Forest is if you journey a little deeper into the woods, you'll find some maniac who's just bonking his dang head against trees.
Yeah.
If you approach him, he'll say, "Oh, thank you for coming. I'm the headbutt master. I know how to headbutt really good.
He loves it.
I'm willing to teach one of your Pokemon headbutt." Actually, I think he's probably willing to teach any number of your Pokemon headbutt.
I tested that because I was I actually think the headbutt TM is quite useful in general, especially early mid-game. And I was oh, I have to actually think about this. Who do I teach it to? I taught it to my Bayleaf, and then I talked to him again immediately. And he was "Oh, yeah, he'll teach it again."
He'll teach it as many times as you want.
It's the first time I've seen this where the move trainer will just continually teach your Pokemon this move, as long as you go out and pay tribute to him in the middle of this forest.
If he weren't so useful, it's definitely trainer danger material. He's "Come to the woods with me. Yeah. And I'll teach you headbutt."
And you have to deal with some guy with a bloody, forehead and black eyes.
Are you watching that QAnon documentary on HBO?
I don't think I can get involved with that.
It's pretty good, but the guy who's probably QAnon is a weirdo, and he likes to do this thing where he goes into his backyard every day and punches a piece of wood over and over again to form calluses on his knuckles. That's what this guy's like. He probably runs a shadow profile on the internet that's tricked all of our parents into hating vaccines or whatever.
Oh yeah.
This guy's got that all over him,
Yeah. I think if you're probably into QAnon, then you're into QAnon. I mean, I don't think I think probable is eventually going to go to.
I think Q's got a lot of interesting things to say.
Yeah. I think if you're already saying that,
I'm not a Q believer.
The game is
I
up.
just think he's got a lot. I think he's got a lot of interesting things to say.
the other thing that is interesting in here that is substantially different from the original game is a kimono girl is hanging out
Oh yeah, she
in the forest.
I barely remember the kimono girls. We interact with them in Ekritique.
Yeah, that's right. And you just fight their evolutions.
Right.
But I had heard that they're like a little more prominent in this remake. But I didn't think we would just run into one in the forest and she's like lost.
Oh, and then your lead Pokemon ushers her out.
And I had Geodude up front at the time, and which is like one of the most awkward Pokemon I've seen so far as your follower.
Does he bounce?
And he
or
just
does he float?
he bounces over to like lead the kimono girl out, like point her in the right direction.
I could see how it made sense when they were developing Pokemon Red and Green in Japan originally to have all these Pokemon that seemingly just float, like all the water Pokemon and Geodude and like all these other Pokemon.
Yeah.
But it must have been such a pain in the ass for the anime writers and illustrators to be like, what the fuck do we do with Geodude?
Right.
Like, does he just roll?
Rolling makes a lot of sense because it learns rollout, but
Right.
you would also kind of think it does like basically a windmill thing.
Or just like walks on its arms.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That was probably a lot to have to animate though.
There's just like no explanation for how like Whale Lord
No.
is just trotting along behind you.
God, I hope that we get a Gyarados or a Wailord or something in this so that we can see what it does.
I bet they both learn surf. I bet it just creates like a riptide tidal wave and just floats on it.
That would be cool.
That would be cool.
I mean, I feel like some of them, like those should take up at least 2 squares, I would say. 1 square for a Wailord.
That would be cool. It'd be cool if they took up tons of squares.
Speaking of squares, what kind of Pokemon did you find in here when you stepped on a square?
Oddish.
Oddish.
I don't think I'm going to run it. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, you already had one.
Yeah, because I went through here last week.
Right,
but then
right.
you and I discussed a little bit, and I thought, like, maybe I can play an Oddish. Maybe I can get to Vileplume and, like, have a cool plant-type Pokemon because I don't have any other plant options on the team.
Grass.
Grass. And honestly, as you will discover later, bug catchers, grass is a bit of an issue for me.
Yeah. I don't know why I have some hang up. I never say it's like my favorite, but I actually do like grass type quite a bit.
Yeah.
I pretty much always have a grass type Pokemon on my final team, one way or another. But I don't really think about it. It just happens.
I kind of like grass type too, but it's just like I don't want to. I like Oddish is such well-trod territory on this show now. You know, like
Yeah.
Gloom has been my You Make Me Barf Pokemon at least once a season since we started.
Yeah.
You know,
It's up there with the Unons. Yeah.
I think both of us have run Vileplumes at some point, so I'm hoping to find something a little more interesting grass type before the game is over.
I got an interesting one in here,
Who's that?
which I found out in retrospect has a 5% chance. Paris.
Oh, wow. Paris is grass type?
It's grass and bug, yeah.
I just assumed it was pure bug.
Both.
Huh.
Its name is Booger, which apparently is a pet salamander
Yeah.
that you owned.
What a brief and
Is that
and
an animal that you can own? I thought that was just like a wild animal.
What a brief and treacherous relationship Booger and I had. Here's what we did. My dad is an avid 5K runner.
Humble brag.
So he was running a 5K in my hometown of Fort Collins, Colorado, which ended in the old CSU stadium.
Okay.
And we were sitting there in the grass of the football field, waiting for my dad to finish the race and come meet us. And I put my hand down in the grass, and I felt something slimy like a booger. And I looked, and it was a salamander. And I said to my mom, "Look at this, it's a salamander. I'm going to keep it." And she's like, "Okay."
Why not?
So I took it,
Yeah.
and it turns out that salamanders essentially just constantly need to be wet. So he started to dry out and die.
Oh my God.
And then I dropped him in a parking lot, and his eye started to bleed.
Oh my
and I was
God.
traumatized by it.
It's your fault.
And then we drove by Horsetooth Reservoir, and I was like, I don't know what to do with this fucking salamander. I'm just gonna let him go in the reservoir. So he was my pet for less than a day, but it was a deep love that we shared.
Wow.
For one another. So
That reminds me of the love affair that I had with a baby octopus that I found once.
You decided to keep it?
Yeah, I was also a child. I don't know, probably 6 or 7
Oh,
or
I was 20, 21. I think I was probably like 9.
Yeah. I think I was about that age, and I do not remember what it was named. I'm sure I named it.
Okay.
But yeah, I found it in a tide pool in this beach in Seattle. Shoal.
Excuse me?
Shoal?
Short haul.
Yeah, I have no idea how to spell it.
Okay.
And yeah, it was also a day-long thing.
Yeah.
Because it was like, look, I found a fucking octopus, which is crazy.
Yeah.
It was like an inch diameter.
Abandoned by its mommy.
In a tide pool, probably like washed up in there. Kind of a coral color. Picked it up, scooped it up in a bucket. My parents were humoring me too. And they're like, all right, well,
we're going to need to buy a fucking
I don't think that
aquarium.
we can afford just getting like a giant aquarium with seawater that we're going to maintain.
Yeah.
And we had to return it by the end of the day. It did survive.
Booger survived too. It swam off in the reservoir and seemed quite happy.
Oh, okay. You saw it swim away. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
I don't know anything about fucking raising a salamander. I'm glad. I'm not ready for that amount of responsibility.
I think it would be tough.
Yeah. Oh, so Booger's back in my life.
Yeah.
You gonna hold on to this Paris, you think?
If my bay leaf or meganium dies, Paris is probably what I will swap in to make it more interesting.
Right. Paris sack.
But it's boxed.
That's fine. It kind of hurt, actually. It hurt to think about
I'm sorry.
Booger again. So
Yeah, it just felt like that's what Paris is.
yeah.
That thing is definitely slimy.
I would hate to touch one, honestly. I would hate it.
I mean, I think you would get like a fungal infection.
Right, exactly. The parasite took over this like crab's body, right?
We don't even know what it was. Yeah.
It's like a fungus.
And then it becomes entirely the fungus.
The fungus like becomes sentient and locomotes.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
All it's got left are the little claws.
Would never want to touch that. So that's Ilex Forest. Once you're on the other side, the southern side of Route 34, you don't get very far into Route 34 before Lyra assails you
Yeah.
and says, hey, let me show you my grandparents' place. Because canonically, apparently, her grandparents run the daycare center here.
Apparently, yeah.
And I popped in, I said hi, they make you.
Right. The grandma makes some jokes about like that you're her boyfriend.
Oh, yeah, you're dating her. Yeah.
It's a little uncomfortable.
That was uncomfortable for you.
Yeah.
It was uncomfortable for me because it's like, I've only got eyes for low pony, baby.
I don't. A little early for Stanner to be settling down in his journey.
There's not much you can do. You can drop off a daycare pet at this point, but
we can't.
we can't. That's one of our bonus rules is the daycare is not allowed.
The only other notable thing for me on this route was Joshy's sweetie,
Who's that?
Picnicker Gina's Bulbasaur.
Oh, Josh.
I mean,
What a basic
I
bee.
can't, I was debating between that and Raichu. There's not much to work with so far.
I guess.
I don't know that Bulbasaur has been a sweetie before officially, though. And look at how it rears up like a cat that's about to pounce, which
It's
is
cute.
fun.
Yeah.
I mean,
I do like
Bulbasaur
it.
is always
it just
a
feels
fucking
like
sweetie.
it feels basic.
Okay. What would you suggest should be the sweetie this episode, then?
Ooh, I'm glad you asked.
How about that? Now it's not so easy. You know, I collect a list every week, and I choose the sweetie. There were other ones that were options, but I evaluated it,
Surely.
and I was
one
like,
of those.
Bulbasaur has not even made the cut, technically.
Oh, this is your first time mentioning Bulbasaur?
As the sweetie, yeah.
Wow.
This is the first time that Bulbasaur is actually officially a sweetie, which is very obvious. But
Surely.
not redundant.
One of these ladies in the gym had something cute.
Jigglypuff was looking good. I thought about that. It does a little like, you know, the down throw in Super Smash Brothers where Jigglypuff will like roll over the body of the player it's throwing. It does that in this, which I really liked.
Yeah. Or maybe one of those people in the underground had something good. I'm gonna nail this.
Okay.
How do I find the underground?
It's the Goldenrod tunnel.
Here it is. Let's see what we got. See what kind of talent we're working with here.
I will say, well, I have a couple of comments about the Goldenrod Tunnel, but now I don't want to skip ahead.
Oh, I have a couple of comments about it too. No, the Goldenrod Tunnel is a fucking nightmare. Everything is so ugly.
Okay,
all right.
So now you see, picking a sweetie is not that easy.
Bulbasaur is the right choice here.
Raichu was in National Park, and I almost did that, but Raichu has been the sweetie before.
Yeah.
I just love Raichu.
Me too. Raichu's a looker.
What'd you catch on Route 34?
You wouldn't believe it, Josh. I didn't know what to expect from Route 34, but it's a long-ass route with lots of grass and lots of trainers. And in the middle of it is a guard station.
Yeah, there's a guard you can only fight at night.
I waited until I got to the guard station and then dipped into the little patch of grass right there.
Yeah.
And the second I stepped foot into the grass, I was attacked by a Pokemon called Ditto.
Ditto.
And
Ditto.
I literally thought at the time, I was like, they really juiced the Dittos in this game. Like, I remember last time I tried to catch a Ditto was in maybe the first season.
I think so.
I don't remember. I just remember trying to find a Ditto. And it was like a 2% chance on one route. So I was like, oh, they really are like throwing out the Dittos now. And I caught it and then went and looked it up. And it's apparently a 4% chance.
Jesus.
Or 5%, something. I don't know.
Yeah, 5%. I'm looking at it because I wanted to check mine too.
So I caught a Ditto. And I got to admit, I'm kind of having a little bit of fun with him.
I was hoping one of us would get Ditto because this is the opportunity to try Ditto out.
Yeah,
because it's like, what? See, fuck around, find out, and if it dies, it's like, okay, whatever, you know?
Yeah, it's just a Ditto.
Like, your team is gonna be fine if you lose a Ditto.
It's pretty interesting.
But what if it's interesting and what if it's good?
It's kind of fun. Here's something I didn't know about Ditto is when you do use Transform, your PPs are cut to like nothing.
Oh, really? You don't get all the PPs from the Pokemon?
If the Pokemon you're challenging has like 20 PP and like cut or whatever, you'll only get like 4.
What?
Yeah. So it's really only good for like one Pokemon. You can't really keep it in battle for the entire game. And I think that's why they do it.
Okay.
I think they do it so that you can't transform into like some boss Pokemon and then just keep it in.
I see.
And just keep battling.
Yeah, but it's not like overpowered. I don't know.
No, it sucks.
It's not very
It sucks in a lot of ways. You have to wait so many turns just getting it transformed, and by then it's like at half health.
Right.
But once it's transformed, it's kind of fun. I will get to it later, but I took on most of Whitney's gym with it, and it was pretty wild.
That's fun.
It's well equipped for a gym like Whitney's because they're all normal types.
And it's gender neutral.
Right. Yeah. We'll get to it in a bit.
Into.
Yeah. So Route 34 is, it is what it is. What did you catch here?
I got an Abra, which I just looked up is also a 10%.
I don't know how
and
we
it
both
wasn't Dupe's Claws. I literally was the first one that came out.
Me too.
But I knew they were here, so I had Butterfree up front. And I Mayor Sleeped it, and I caught that Abra.
I also had Noctowl up front. Who knows Hypnosis?
Yeah, I was hoping that this would happen, and it happened.
Yeah.
So I have an Abra again.
What a fun route for both of us. What an unexpected route for both of us.
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, good run. Paris is not great, but like that's a 5%.
Right.
I got a 5% and a 10%.
We've got the benefit of the Dupe's Claws in this run.
Yeah, so it could have happened. It's more of just like both of them for me were the first encounter.
Yeah, me too. It was
and
literally
Ditto was the first one for you.
The first step I took into tall grass in the entire route was a Ditto.
That's pretty wild.
I know it's not true, but I still am convinced that like the further you go into an area, the more likely you are to get the good Pokemon.
That's your QAnon.
Yeah, that's my QAnon. I will say it's a pretty short leg. We just did Ilex, Route 34, and then you're in Goldenrod. So we did decide to kind of bump it and go up and do we also we realized that we were going to record on a Tuesday. So we're like, oh, we should just do the National Park bug catching contest since it's a Tuesday and it only runs on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday.
Yeah.
So we added a little bit on the end.
Yeah, we did.
Outside of Goldenrod.
This is all elaborated upon in the catchable areas spreadsheet that is now shared on our social channels.
Yeah.
You can check out the subreddit, reddit.com/r/bugcatchers, or the Twitter. It is listed on both of them. We've made a sheet that you can copy and use it to track exactly where we will be counting as first encounters. And we omitted static and scripted because you can't catch those.
Yeah.
So National Park is 2.
I'm going to go pin it to the top of the Twitter right now so you can find it easily, bug catchers.
Yeah, that's good.
Now that we've made it through Route 34, we're in Goldenrod. And Joshua, there's so many sights, there's so many lights, there's so many sounds in Goldenrod.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's like the first time I visited New York and like walked into Times Square. It's like,
Starry-eyed.
What do I do? Do I go to Bubba Gump Shrimp Company first? Do I go to M&M World first?
Can't take your eyes off that giant lit up TV screen with the mill tank on it.
Actually, you know what? The first time I did go to New York was like 98, and all of the like trinket shops in Times Square, they all had Pokemon in the front window. It was like a dream come true for me. But man, like it had just become like a craze in the US. So like all the places that like sell like Statue of Liberty statuettes,
yeah,
they just had like, you know, Snorlax dolls in the front displays.
Pikachus. Yeah.
So many sights, so many sounds. I would love to hear where you started in Goldenrod City, Josh. After this break.
Yeah. No comment.
Joshua, we took a break and I went out. I opened the door to the guest room and my wife and her parents were all in the den just outside the guest room watching Rachel Maddow.
It's just outside this room?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And I kind of looked in. I was like, oh, everyone's still up. You guys, I wasn't being too loud, was I? Please say you didn't hear me. You're like, oh, no, we didn't hear a thing. And I was like, oh, thank God.
Got Maddow on blast.
Thank God, because I was talking about how sexy these dang bunny Pokemon are the entire time. And it's just not something I feel like I can or need to explain right now, you know? I'm a red-blooded man, aren't I?
Yeah. Still got blood coursing through your veins. Pandemic hasn't gotten you down. So Jamie's parents didn't know about this proclivity going into the whole thing?
I don't think so. I don't even think Jamie knows how real it's gotten.
Yeah, okay. It's part of your internet persona now.
Yeah, one of them.
Yeah.
There's so many of them now. All right, so we're in Goldenrod.
Uh-huh.
Lots to do here, lots to see.
Beautiful.
I beelined right for the game corner.
Oh my God.
Gotta blow some precious cash on the game corner, don't I?
You can't even blow money on this one.
I'm addicted to this shit.
You are into this Voltorb flip?
No, the Voltorb flip game sucks.
There aren't even slots for you to of who's one arm for you to rob.
I know. The Voltorb flip game sucks.
What the hell is
it's
this?
So bad.
I don't ever like the game corner, and I think that's already on the record, but if it isn't, I think the game corner is bullshit. But like, at least in the other games, it has a casino vibe, and like, people are ruining their lives, they're running out of money, they're breaking up their families, they gotta just run the slots, and I get that. But here it's like some fucking weirdo and like two cronies in like a poorly lit club.
The exterior is stunning.
Yeah, the exterior is stunning. They blew all their money on that.
It's got like neon lights and like a big diamond sign. It's cool.
But it's got one game and you are just sitting at a table with this man who is just like, make my day.
Well, this game existed.
Play Voltorb flip.
In a pretty similar iteration in Gen 2.
But it didn't have slots too, though. Like, there just aren't even slots anymore.
But now all there is Voltorb Flip. And it's such a bad game.
God, it's so bad. I wanted
it's like impossible to understand. And like,
well,
it's sort of like, it's like, I can't remember if it's on the Switch or 3DS, but it's called Mario Picross.
I know the name, but I have never played that, yeah.
You have to do like logic puzzles to fill in boxes. So it's a little like that. Like, it's kind of a grid of cards and you flip them over and there's numbers on them. But then if you catch a Voltorb, it'll like blow up the board and you lose. Oh, you know what it's like? It's like that game that was on Windows 95.
Well, Minesweeper.
Minesweeper. Yeah.
I think it's more similar to that. It's like on the far right side of the board, there will be a little Voltorb icon, and then it will say like 0, or it will say 2 or 3 or 1 or whatever.
Right.
And then that indicates how many Voltorbs are in the row to the left of it.
Right.
And I think it's like 5.
It's 5 by 5, the grid.
Yeah. So what you're trying to do is line up as many as possible that are not Voltorbs, and it's multipliers.
That's how Picross works.
Okay. So maybe it's more similar to that. It's a little of both, because the Voltorbs explode like in Minesweeper, but you just can't make money on this thing.
No.
I actually gave it like 20 minutes to actually have a comment on this, and like, it's basically impossible.
Yeah, it's very difficult. It's like a logic game, so it's not
you're
really
making fucking like
chance.
3 coins most of the time.
Right, it sucks.
If you don't just blow up.
I wonder how many coins you could make.
So in their example, in the explainer, it's basically like you're trying to find all of the 2s and 3s, and I think there's 2 of each.
Listen to this. Josh, mechanics, gameplay. Voltorb Flip was described in a pre-release review as a cross between Picross and Minesweeper.
Oh, wow. Look at us. The game sucks, but that's great that we got that right.
Oh, here we go. You can make 3,456 coins, which honestly is not that fucking much.
You need 10,000 to get Ice Beam? So you have to play a perfect game 4 times, a little over 3 times to even fucking get 1 TM that anyone would give a damn about?
That's level 8.
I guess I didn't check on this, but I remember in Platinum, when I was buying these TMs, I just dropped, I think, $80,000.
Yeah.
Easily, I'd rather spend $80,000.
It's the worst game.
You know what they should do with these game corners? Why don't they just
It's cool. It's cool that it's logic. Like, it's cool that it's logic rather than chance. You know, it's like,
yeah,
it incentivizes like actually sitting there and doing it, but it's just
I'll
like
give it
it's
that.
so hard.
Why don't they just put Pokemon Pinball in these game corners?
Right? That would be so fucking
Now
good.
that's a game.
Oh, why didn't we ever play Pokemon Pinball as an interstitial?
I don't think there's very much to comment about, to be honest.
There's like entire podcasts about pinball.
Are there?
They just talk about like the pinball machines or shit. I don't know. It's like a big
Like
thing.
they review pinball machines.
I'm not like a pin boy, which I assume is what they call themselves.
Yeah, definitely. That's what they would go for. Pinboy. That sounds fine.
I accidentally once stumbled into like a pinball club in Manhattan.
Oh no.
It was like after work and I was just looking for a place to like get a happy hour drink with someone.
But it's not barcade? What is a pinball club?
It's like for pinball, like serious pinball players. Like they go and just like play pinball.
Something about that
And
is like
we were just
extra fucked up.
so clearly unwelcome. We were just like, we just want to have a drink. And they're like, you're not here to play pinball? And it's like, nope, don't even like pinball.
I don't like pinball. I like Pokemon pinball.
Yeah.
And that speaking of the Windows 98, like, what is that?
Oh yeah, Space Cadet.
Space Cadet pinball. That was fucking slapped.
I recently learned on a YouTube channel called LGR that apparently that was a demo
Yeah.
of a larger game, and the actual game had like 5 levels, like 5 boards you could play.
Yeah,
and
but
Space Cadet was just one of them. But it was like, why mess with success? You've already given me Space
It was
Cadet.
our perfect game.
Yeah.
Why would I pay for imperfection potentially when what I have is perfect?
I'm not going to pay you for an inferior product.
Exactly. Although isn't that the premise of Windows? Hey,
This game sucks.
hey, yeah,
Voltorb Flip sucks.
It still sucks.
I might try to figure it out just because some of those TMs you can buy are so useful.
I'm just gonna get rich or die trying. Otherwise,
Yeah.
well, my Pokemon will die trying.
I was just slamming A at some point and made the mistake of sending money to my mom.
Not this time.
Do I have to go visit her to turn
Yes.
that off?
You have to pay tribute. Not this time for me. I don't want that Snorlax doll. I've done it before, and I'm not doing it again.
It stinks. She keeps calling me and being like, "Oops, I spent your money." Some guy's gonna deliver it to you at the next Pokemart, and then I always go and it's just like paralyze heal. It's like thanks, mom.
Right.
So I have to go turn it off because I need all the money I can get.
It's so far
potions.
been a little rough generating money.
Yeah.
Platinum, I was rolling in it. I was just last night breeding the egg that I will be importing. Mm-hmm. And I checked, and after buffing all of those EVs, basically I think all of them are maxed on candies and shit. I still have $475,000 sitting around.
Jesus, 475,000.
Yeah, and I mean, I didn't buy a bunch of shit at the resort.
I feel like I did well last gen, but like not that well.
Well, the thing was that I had the amulet coin.
There's something I wasted a bunch of money on, and now I can't remember what it was. Oh, it was TMs. It was TMs at the fucking the department store. Yeah, early in the game, so I never quite recovered from
Well,
that.
let's talk about the department store in Goldenrod.
Yes, here's where the department store is. I essentially didn't go in. I did, but I didn't explore it very much because I'm not liquid, as they say.
Right. Yeah, you didn't want to get tempted.
All my cash is tied up in mom right now.
Yeah, but you put all of your investments in one future, and that's not a good idea.
Yeah, that's bad. Although I've done that in real life too. Every time you tell me about some stock you own, I'm just like, okay, chump, I'm here sitting on my Bitcoin. It just keeps going up.
Get in on that Roblox. That's what everybody's talking about these days.
That's what everyone's talking about in 2018.
Well, it only IPO'd like a few weeks ago.
Okay, so it's all downhill from here.
Yeah, well, they got some deal with Hasbro this week, so now it's popping off, and I pissed off that I didn't get it on Roblox.
Oh, I thought you were.
No, I have Hasbro, though.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it was good for me. I'm not going to lie, it was all right for me.
This is Stock Tips.
Stock chat.
Stock Tips with Josh and Tanner.
Or
Crypto Tips.
No, I'm not. I've read a number of articles about cryptocurrency, and I still don't get it. And I think I'm just going to let it go.
You don't have to get it. You don't have to get it.
Go.
Just put money in it, and all of a sudden the money is doubled.
I'm going to let it go. I'm going to let that one go.
Okay. This is not a financial podcast. Please do not take any of our advice as financial advice. It's all just for entertainment purposes only. You cannot sue us for this.
You got some crypto?
I got Bitcoin, man, and it just keeps making me money.
Holy shit.
It just never stops going up.
Oh, so I guess you're going to leave the podcast one of these days when you're just a Bitcoin-aire.
With the $150 I put into Bitcoin, that's now $300. I'm going to leave the podcast.
You don't need this. Chump change.
A couple weeks ago, I was talking to my wife. I was like, do you think it's a good idea to put all of our savings into Bitcoin? And she was like, no, I think it's a bad idea. I was like, yeah, probably.
It's bad. And bug catchers, don't tweet at us about crypto.
We don't care. We don't care.
I'm not interested.
We don't care about stocks. We don't care about crypto.
I like cold, hard cash.
I care about putting all of my money into collectible toys from the 1980s.
How did you feel about the fact that Jar Jar Binks is not making the cut for that Obi-Wan Kenobi series on Disney Plus?
I feel insulted.
It seems insulted. Pretty discriminatory.
Jar Jar Binks is a pretty important figure in Obi-Wan Kenobi's life.
I thought so.
I thought so too. I just rewatched the episode 1 for the other podcast, and Jar Jar Binks is a major player, you know. And in the extended universe, like he becomes a fucking senator.
That's pretty important.
It's insulting. It's insulting.
Yeah, I felt the same way, and I'm not even a Jar Jar Binks head. A Jar Jar head.
For the other podcast, we just watched episode 1, and Jack watched it with his 3-year-old son.
Yeah.
And for the following like 3 or 4 days, his son, his name is Cyril. He really latched on to Watto.
Oh, at the pod racer, like
slave trader, like junk shop owner.
Yeah.
And kept insisting that he is Watto. And then went to the playground one day, and a little boy like approached him and was like, "Hey, my name's Mike. What's your name?" And he's like, "Watto." and he's like, oh, okay. And he's like, Toydarians don't like to play or something like that. Like he's become Watto.
Oh my God.
And I don't have the heart to tell him what an culturally insensitive and bad character Watto is.
Well, Cyril's going to get canceled.
Yeah, Cyril's canceled.
Might as well get it over with early on, you know?
Yeah, 3. That's good. It's all upside.
Got a lot of time to level it back out.
Did you do anything in department store?
Yeah, the main thing was that they made the basement a lot more robust. They've got like a couple of like dudes down there who will instruct the Machokes to move the boxes this time. And there is an area we can't access yet that has another item in it.
We're going to get to that when we get to the Team Rocket hangout.
Right.
Underground.
But for now, you can just get like an ether and like an ultra ball and whatever.
Yeah.
The main thing though is the rooftop atrium.
Ooh, I didn't make it up there. Tell me.
You pay $300 and then you can get one of 3 prizes. And depending on the day, it changes. So all I got was an Aspear berry, which, of course...
Aspear.
Aspear. Aspear? I don't know. Aspear is good. I don't even fucking know what it does. And frankly, I don't care.
Wait, this is bringing something to mind for me. I don't quite remember who I interacted with or what the context was, but there was someone you could pay some amount of money to who would just give you like a mystery prize. Was that in the underground?
Yeah, I think it's in the underground, and I did do that as well.
You just give them money and they give you some random item.
It's like $100 and you get like a random item.
That's like not a
That's
bad
a good deal.
This guy. Yeah.
This is a gambling town. This is fucking Macau over here, Goldenrod. Quickly on the rooftop atrium, I thought it was stupid because I got a berry, but then I looked it up for this outline for the episode, and you can get sick TMs if you get first prize or second prize. Second prize is rare balls, like luxury balls, repeat balls, quick balls, etc. First prize, though, you can get Dragon Claw, Shadow Claw, Flash Cannon, Charge Beam, Drain Punch, Facade, and Silver Wind. All of those are good.
Those are all good.
And it's $300, but you randomly get it.
Silverwind's kind of hard to find.
Yeah. And Drain Punch, I wanted to use a bunch in Platinum, but you only get one, so I'd never even taught it to anyone because I'm like a TM hoarder.
That's not bad. I'm going to have to make my way up there.
So it changes on the day, so it behooves you to actually go there every day that you're playing this game.
Yeah. Other sort of forgettable sights and sounds in Goldenrod include the Name Raider, who's got
a circus tent.
Like, he's in a circus tent now. Did you ever play Chrono Trigger on the SNES?
No, I'm very familiar with it.
God, you gotta play it. I think
not allowed to have an SNES.
It's maybe the best JRPG ever made.
It looks beautiful. I mean, I've just watched videos of it.
It's so good.
And like read about the story. I think it looks fucking great, but I've never done it. It's on Advance. Didn't they re-release it on Advance or something?
On DS.
Which I now own many of.
A DS cart.
Yeah. Shit, man. I will do that.
In fact, remember how I lost my DS at fucking Hartley's?
Yeah.
The fucking game that was in the DS was Chrono Trigger, and now it's like skyrocketed in price.
Dara's playing it, I'm sure.
Fucking dickhead. The pregame of Chrono Trigger, there's a very, very similar sort of like fortune teller tent. But yeah, now the Name Raider's in like a tent and he's like a mystic.
I like it.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
I think the Name Raider, they don't do enough with it. It's like, why wouldn't he just be kind of like this weird soothsayer in like a fucking circus tent?
Right.
Why not?
Some of the other sort of forgettable landmarks in Goldenrod is Bill lives here, but he's not there.
He's on business.
So it's just like his sister's like, my brother Bill built the Pokemon storage system. It's like, great, I don't care.
Yeah, the only thing with that was that, did you notice to the west of their house, there's just a bell, like the Liberty Bell.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. It's like off in the bay.
Sitting in the water.
Yeah.
No one comments on it.
It's, it's just set decoration, but it's like, it's a pretty fun little like landmark.
Yeah, for like a harbor, which I think
Right.
Goldenrod is, so that's kind of cool.
There's also the mood tester, who just tells you your Pokemon's friendship level. There's the flower shop, and after you beat Whitney, they'll give you a bucket that will convince the Pseudo-Wudo between Violet City and Route 36
The
or
way
7.
to Eckerty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bike shop, where you get a bike to advertise the bike shop. Magnet train, which is not usable yet, but will eventually be good and handy in the end game. And the global terminal, which is where you can connect to do battles and trades online. So that's kind of all the forgettable shit. But one of the real notable landmarks here is the underground.
Oh, yeah.
You can either approach from the north or the south, and it's full of trainers, it's full of hair cutters, it's full of fashionistas. Oh, that's what it was. The guy will sell you fashion items.
That's right.
You pay $100 and you get, like, someone gives you a fashion case. And then there's a guy in here who will, you just pay $100 and he'll give you like random fashion items.
Which is like some huckster on the streets of New York City, actually. Going all the way back.
I did it 5 or 6 times and I got some pretty cool shit. I got like a surfboard.
Oh, that's good.
And like Squirtle shades from like the season 1 of the anime.
From like the Squirtle Squad?
Yeah. And a top hat. And I took a picture of my Ditto like wearing all of it. It looks great.
Ditto with a top hat.
God, I wish I had.
That sounds good.
Let me go get my Game Boy. I gotta show you this picture. let's keep chatting. I'm going to, in the background, make my way to the underground so I can get to the little like art museum down there.
Yeah. So Goldenrod Tunnel is all about fashion, and when you enter it, Lyra gives you the fashion case. And then as Tanner mentioned, you got the herb shop, which is like revival herb, like the stuff that it's items that you could just buy at a mart, but they're a little cheaper, but the Pokemon do not like them, so I never buy those.
Yeah, they taste bad.
The salon, which is where you can get little haircuts, and that will increase their friendship. And the bargain shop, which I did not see because I was not playing on a day that it's open, which is literally only Monday mornings from 4 a.m. to 9:59 a.m. And it's eBay.
Yeah.
The merchant deals valuable items that are slightly marked down, and then you can sell them at a mart. So it's like a nugget.
It's even better than I thought it was, than I remember it being.
Nuggets, $4,500, Big Pearls, $3,500, and then, yeah, let's see this. Wait,
it's a desert
take a
landscape.
photo of that also on your phone and send it to me.
It's a desert landscape, and on it is a Ditto in cool Squirtle shades and a top hat, standing on a first place podium, and he's singing a song into a microphone.
God, it's the coolest Pokemon I've ever seen.
And the title of the composition is Pocket Money.
The alt title is Josh Fjellstad, the first night that he gets to do karaoke after this goddamn pandemic.
I love this thing. I know I'd never get the like contest like fashion shit, but man, setting up this scene, buying like maybe $1,000 worth of like random items from this dude and setting up this scene was one of my finer moments in Pokemon history.
Oh my god, it's so good. It's also with the sunglasses, it cuts off the smile so it looks like a smirk too. Like it's a very self-satisfied Ditto.
Such fun. So yeah, then other than the underground, the real main attraction here is the radio tower, which is where we have to go next.
Yeah, Whitney is not at the gym because she is clamoring for a radio card.
She wants to win the contest to get the radio card.
Yeah.
Going to radio tower, I seem to remember there being more of a Team Rocket presence in Gen 2.
They're around. They're lurking around.
They're
the
around,
radio
but
tower.
they're not like threatening yet, you know?
No, but they want to lure you into a false sense of security.
You've got access to 2 levels, the lobby and the second level. There's no Team Rocket grunts anywhere, except for like hanging out around outside.
Yeah.
Second level, just to cover it briefly, like there's a guard blocking the entrance to the third level. You can like interact with some of the hosts of the radio shows.
Buena.
Yeah, Buena.
Buena's password is her show. And every day at 5 p.m. and a.m., 8 p.m. and a.m., etc., 11 p.m., you listen to her show, and then if you remember the password, on the radio card, and then go back and tell her what it is, you get points. And you can get rare candies and nuggets and shit.
You collect, I don't remember what it's called now. Stars? Cards, yeah.
Yeah.
And you use those to cash in for prizes.
It's really rare that I'm playing it really basically any of those times, but I'm going to
give it a whirl.
Yeah, that's after you get the radio card, which you can only get after winning the quiz, which, did you?
Which is the exact same as Gen 2.
Yeah, so I knew my pitfall and I corrected it this time.
What was your pitfall last time? I don't remember.
The same thing that Whitney there will comment about, which is that I was just basically slamming A and I just read it as apricorns, but it said apricots.
Yeah.
And that's what defeated Whitney as well.
Yeah.
But this time I got all of it right.
So yeah, it's 5 questions. They're all pretty straightforward. I whiffed the Professor Elm co-host one.
Oh, Marie. Because it's Maria.
They ask Maria. Yeah. So I had to do it twice, but I got it on the second one. I got all 5 right. So then you get the radio card, and Whitney confronts you, and
she's jealous.
Then she slinks off back to her gym. But before we could go take on Whitney, Joshua, we had to journey north to Route 35, which is a brief route, but chock full of trainers.
Yeah.
Should we address the elephant in the room?
The fire breather controversy?
Fire breather controversy?
Yeah.
Towards the end of this route, there's a real Guy Fieri character. And the person who alerted this to us was Jacob Mendros
Yeah, on Twitter.
at ChefCub69. Hell yeah.
Via the OOC Pokemon Twitter.
Yeah. Via the OOC Pokemon. Out of context Pokemon.
Yeah.
In Gen 2, this character wore a little, like, jester cap.
Yeah.
And was breathing fires. And his name was Fire Breather Dick.
Yeah.
But apparently in Gen 4, they've changed his name. First of all, they took away his little cap, and they've got two little, like, poofs. He looks like a Wolverine meets Guy Fieri.
Yeah.
And they've renamed him Fire Breather Richard.
He's much more dignified now.
And out of context, Pokemon's comment on that was, "You cowards." Which is very funny.
Yeah, it's very good.
So you take this on. My starter's a water Pokemon, so it's like it was I made short work of Fire Breather Richard.
No problem here. I mean, I used Ursula Gwyn, the Slowpoke, as well.
Who did you catch on Route 35?
A Drowsy.
Yeah, there's a lot of Drowsies here.
Yeah, I originally thought that was unique, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm glad of a backup Psychic, and I will be diversifying my team and playing people I'm not used to, but like, I have to do Abra, Kadabra, and Alakazam, obviously. But the Drowsy is Atris, the
Atris.
Mist character.
Yep, the dad in Mist who creates the Mist books, also the star of the Mist Reader, 3 Mist novellas.
Wow. I read that on the wiki.
Compiled into one text. Yeah.
I didn't know about those, but
They're good. Man, they're good. I caught a Nidoran male here.
oh, I wanted a Nidoran.
I think there's ample opportunities to catch Nidoran males and females here.
Yeah, they're less common than you would think, though.
Really? Because it's the first thing I encountered, and I encountered them, like, I would say 2 out of 3 times on this route as I was grinding levels.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have to invoke Dupe's Claws. Drowsy was my first one, but I want to run a Nidoking or a Nidoqueen,
right?
And I don't have one yet, so.
Now it's the kind of, not main event, but the
opener.
The headliner. Not the headliner. The opener.
Yeah.
We made our way to National Park because it was a Tuesday to do the bug catching contest. I'm reading the notes here, Josh, our shared note file. You've written here a beautiful title card here. I strongly disagree.
It's like a beautiful, like, sunset.
Did you see who was peeking out of the
Sunkern?
The tall grass?
Yeah.
A heinous little Pokemon called Sunkern.
I don't like Sunkern.
He's a creep, too. He's just like, you can just sort of barely see it peeking his ugly little face out of the grass. Like, I'm watching you.
Yeah,
It's disgusting.
I don't like Sunkern, but we've talked about how, like, the caves have pretty much bullshit title cards most of the time.
Yeah.
I just like that they're integrating a Pokemon that's endemic to the environment in an interesting way.
What about Slowpoke Well?
Slowpoke Well's the best one. I'm not...
That's the gold standard.
Whoa.
Can I tell you a
Let's not
secret?
get crazy. This is the silver standard here.
Can I tell you a secret?
Yeah.
You've got a package on the way.
Okay.
I bought us both 24 by 36 posters of the Slowpoke Well art.
That's a thing?
No, I just made it.
It was already a thing?
No, I made it. I went to like a print your own poster website.
You know I'm moving, so I'm going to frame that.
Perfect.
Beautiful. Right.
I have no idea how long it's going to take them.
Thank you.
We might have to change your address, but I got it for us both. I was going to hang it next to my Jar Jars.
Oh, I'm not moving for
the
like
podcasting studio.
7 weeks. I just meant
it'll definitely be there.
Art's my new thing.
Well, I will start your collection.
Thank you. Oh, I can't wait.
You and I had a little debate about the rules in this section because
yeah,
what we decided was that the bug catching contest counts as one catchable area in National Park. But once that's over, we can catch another Pokemon in National Park.
Yeah.
Outside of the context of the bug catching contest.
Which didn't serve me well. It was basically pointless.
Yeah. So here's what I did. I saw the Sunkern in the splash art and was like, there's no way I'm going to risk catching a Sunkern. Mm-hmm. So instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Headbutt.
Yeah, I realized this after I'd already fucking gotten trapped with a Metapod. And what I should have done is that
I didn't get up there again after beating Whitney. So starting next episode, I will get up there and do headbutts and try to catch. Because I looked it up and like you've got a chance of catching some pretty interesting Pokemon. It's like Ladybug, Execute and Pineco.
Execute would be pretty fucking good.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go do some headbutting.
I mean, I'm like knee deep in bugs and grass types at this point, so it like literally doesn't matter. The only reason that I would want a headbutt is that maybe I can get a hair across.
I sort of like Pineco because it turns into Fortress, who's got like 1 billion hit points, which I think is a Pokemon
hideous,
tactic I like. I know it is disgusting.
That's your new thing.
But what we did was the bug catching contest, which is a thing where you approach on a Tuesday, Thursday, or Saturday, and someone will tell you about the bug catching contest. It's a lot like Safari Zone. They'll give you 20 sport balls.
And 20 minutes as well.
And 20 minutes. And you get to go out there and you get to catch as many Pokemon as you want, except whatever Pokemon you catch will either replace or get thrown away the Pokemon that you have. So like you go and you catch a Metapod, right? And then you keep moving and you catch a Butterfree. And it's like, do you want to keep the Butterfree or the Metapod? And you're like, I want to keep the Butterfree, obviously.
Yeah.
So you throw out the Metapod. And you just keep doing that for 20 minutes until, time is up or you run out of balls or you find the Pokemon you want and then just like go and like check in and be like, I'm done. So that's what we did. I caught a Scyther.
I caught a Scyther.
Both of our games have both Scyther and Pinsir.
Yeah, I was really gunning for a Pinsir because I have not run that, but it wasn't happening. My Butterfree got down to, which is what I brought in, obviously, because Mayor's Sleep.
That's the other trick.
And it got down to 13 hit points, and I didn't want the Butterfree to die.
Yeah.
So I had to just leave once I had the Scyther.
You get to bring one Pokemon in.
Yeah.
And no healing items. So that one Pokemon has to carry you through.
So if it dies in there, you still lose that Pokemon. So I wasn't going to risk that.
I encountered a Pinsir and I accidentally killed it.
Oh, damn. I'd like to see it in action.
But Scyther's kind of a more interesting Pokemon because
Scyther is better. I mean,
it turns into Scizor eventually.
Right. It's sort of absurd in particular in this where like they're kind of a foil for each other. They don't give Pinsir an evolution.
Right.
It gets a mega version eventually, but...
And then during the contest, all of the trainers in this area won't battle you. When the contest is not on, I think they battle you.
Yeah.
But I haven't been back up there since the contest was over. So
the ones in the grass will battle you, yeah.
But during the contest, everyone just sits and fucking does SpawnCon on you.
God, they're really shilling for the fucking Pokewalker.
And they're my trainer danger of the week. Imagine me, Josh, an impressionable 13-year-old boy, playing this game, and like honestly, it's like 10 people are just like, I'm fucking loving the Pokewalker. One of the kids even does like some viral marketing. They're like, my mom won't let me bring my Game Boy to school, but with the Pokewalker, I can keep training my Pokemon anyway. And it's like, that shit would have fucking worked. Like, that would have been the most effective marketing ploy ever for me when I was 13.
Can I give you some quotes? I took some photos of this.
Yeah.
This SpawnCon. Here's two boys like hanging out and playing Pokemon. It's fun having Pokemon out of its Pokeball to walk with it. But the Pokewalker is a whole new dimension. And here's the other one. My mom can't take my Pokemon and tells me not to play with it indoors. But hey, I can keep it in my Pokewalker. That way I'm always with it. This is literally shilling.
It's like when they used to market cigarettes to kids in the 40s with Flintstones.
That's so outrageous. And there's like 6 more people who say this shit.
I know.
And it's like multiple demographics. It's like a mom.
Oh, I'm so busy with my kids, but at least I can carry my Pokewalker with me.
It's everyone. There's like an old man. It's to make sure they're checking every box. Everyone is satisfied by a Pokewalker.
So sleazy.
Except you don't know what they cost on eBay anymore.
Yeah. Not much, actually.
I guess compared to this cartridge.
So the only other thing left, Josh, is Goldenrod Gym.
Yeah.
Before we get to our battle, which we've recorded already in Days of Future Past. Goldenrod Gym, Whitney's gym. We shan't be talking about how sexually provocative Whitney is, some of the art that the fan community has made about her. We've already gone into full detail on that. If that's what you're interested in, go back to season 2. And listen to it there.
We can't go down that path again.
We've grown. We've matured.
Check out season 2.
Let me tell you about my journey through Whitney's gym.
Okay.
I'm here at my in-laws' house. I'm in their living room. I'm surrounded by my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, my wife, my sister-in-law. They're all having a stimulating conversation like adults. And I'm sitting and playing Game Boy. I'm just like, sorry, I have to play Game Boy. It's for my podcast.
Right.
And they're like, okay, fine, whatever. And then as I'm sitting there, I beat all of Whitney's cronies, who all have like Centrets and like Gigglypuffs.
Yeah.
And I'm facing off against Whitney, who's got a Clefairy and a Miltank. Beat the Clefairy, no issues. Take on the Miltank. Literally all of my Pokemon are male. Her Miltank is female and has the power, the move Attract.
Oh, yeah. It's fucking devastating
And
with this shit.
she made every single one of my Pokemon fall in love with her Miltank.
I know.
And they could not land a goddamn hit. And I literally yelled as I was battling. Like, people are in the middle of conversations, and I yelled. My wife was like, are you okay? I was like, yes, all of my Pokemon keep falling in love with this fucking cow.
Yeah.
She was like, what are you talking about? I was like, this fucking cow.
It's pretty straightforward, actually.
What didn't you understand about all of my Pokemon keep falling in love with this fucking cow?
Yeah.
But my saving grace was that sweet beauty Ditto.
Oh, yeah, because it's genderless.
And it transformed in Miltank. Miltank could not use Attract on it.
Yeah.
And Miltank has whatever that disgusting move is, like Milk Drink.
Yeah.
So even though it took a couple turns
And
for
Whitney
Miltank...
uses about 1,000 super potions on top of it.
Yeah. Even though it took Ditto a couple of turns to get into Miltank...
Ew.
And it took a couple hits and was down to like half health, I just used Milk Drink and like restored all my health. It was beautiful. And then use Rollout and like Miltank was done.
Roll out on that fucker. She's always rolling out on everyone else.
Who knew Ditto could come through in a pinch?
And we'll find out whether or not Ditto does in our battle.
He won't.
But
It won't.
this also reminds me, we didn't do level check.
We should do it quick, huh?
And I should have done a kill count.
It's weak.
God damn it.
Pathetic.
My Rattata, whose name I already forgot.
Krillin.
My Rattata Krillin got killed on Route 35 while I was trying to raise it up to get Hyper Fang, which it did do, and then it got killed by a Nidoran female.
That's misandry.
I was bold, and I thought that Rattata could withstand 18 hit points of a double kick, which is super effective.
Good luck.
Killed.
That's your only loss this week?
Yeah, that's my only loss, and that's fine. Rest in petals, you rat bastard.
Wow.
I did want to keep the Rattata literally to be sacrificed later, so I am a little upset about it, but I don't give a shit.
I didn't lose anyone.
Nicely done.
Solid week.
So I'm at 2, you're at 1.
Tell me about your team.
And then for level check, I've got Rosenkrantz, Bayleaf, level 20.
All right.
Fred Van Vliet, Flaffy, level 20. Ursula Le Guin, Slowpoke, level 18. Kanye West, Butterfree, level 19, who is only back because the Rattata got killed. And as you will see in the battle shortly, not trying to be a Mayor Sleep, I was trying to be done with Butterfree, in fact.
Just like I'm done with Kanye.
Right, and I am too. I don't, please.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Tolkien, Kadabra, level 20. That's the new one.
Love it. Love a Tolkien.
I think that makes sense, right?
Did you see that tweet?
I don't know.
It was from a few years ago. It was like a dad. And he was like, my favorite thing is when my daughter explained to her younger sister that J.R.R. Tolkien stands for Jolking, Rolking, Tolkien.
That's good.
Yeah.
And then we have Jeff Johns, aka Geoff Johns, Geodude, level
Johns.
20.
Yep. Couple of newcomers to my team. Owltrust, Noctowl, level 21. You know him, you love him.
Yep.
Newcomer, Slewmoo, Ditto, level 21. The Slewmoo Institute is a sort of Instagram trap attraction.
Cannot believe this.
It's called the Museum of Slime, and they sell slime online, and they have a couple of charity slimes. If you go to slewmooinstitute.com/collections/slime-for-charity.
Like silly putty?
Slime. idiot. It's 2021,
It's
Josh. We're all about slime. Okay. We're all doing slime.
They got
now.
crunchy slime.
So they've got slimes that benefit Sad Girls Club, Nami, and Love is Louder. So go check them out.
Check out Slumu.
Fleecehaven, Flaffy, level 20. Asp, Arbok, level 23. Everglade, Fund, Croconaw, level 20. And then a newcomer to the team, Three Rivers, Scyther, level 16. The threeriverspark.org. It's a park district in North Carolina that apparently has lots of praying mantises.
Okay.
And needs your money to preserve them.
That seems fine. I feel like they probably do need a little support.
Let's see how these teams fare against one another now, Josh.
With past, future self.
Us. It's our past, Bugcatcher's future and past. No. Yeah, Bugcatcher's future because it's about to happen, and past because it's the past us. So
yeah.
Let's throw to that. We'll see you in a second for the outro, Bugcatchers.
Bye.
Hello, Bugcatchers! I'm reporting to you from the front lines. That sound you hear in the background, that's the HVAC system here at my in-laws' house. It's Tuesday night. It's almost 9 p.m. Josh and I decided to abort our record and instead just do the battle and record tomorrow night.
Yeah.
When I can go upstairs and record. So if my audio sounds like total trash tonight, it's just because of that. But we figured, let's get the battle done. Let's get it out of the way.
Y'all don't need the best quality audio just for...
Not for these intros and outros where I just talk about how much of a cheater Josh is.
I only have Butterfree because my Rattata got killed.
Yeah.
I was trying not to have Mayor Sleep be involved, but Mayor Sleep could come out, and I can't control it.
You've heard all about Josh's Rattata getting killed, but it's news to me. We haven't recorded the episode yet.
Right.
So our teams and our journey so far are a mystery to one another, but we're going to dive in. We're going to battle here.
We'll see you on the other side of the wind tunnel that Tanner's in.
Yeah. And then... And then our past selves, which is our future selves for us, will then see you out. So
wow.
Let's get battling, Josh. Let's see which of our teams reigns supreme, which you've already all heard about, Bugcatchers and Level Check, from our past selves, aka our future selves for us.
The timelines are getting really complex
so tricky.
in the show. And then I'm starting to understand why Pokemon Company got so tripped up with the mythology, you know?
It gets so tough.
Look how confusing it is in this podcast.
Yeah. The sound you hear in the background is Arceus breaking through the red chain and tearing apart time itself, which is why there's so much timey-wimey stuff. All right, we'll see you in a second, Bugcatchers. We'll let you know who won the first battle.
Smell you soon.
Ooh, Joshua.
Spicy.
That was a spicy meatball. I was trying to think of something funnier to say than meatball, but there is nothing funnier to say than meatball.
That's it for that joke.
Very close. Very, very close battle.
Yeah, it came down to my Butterfree at the end only having 64% of its health, and that's my last Pokemon.
Joshua was trying to be chivalrous and didn't put in his Butterfree up top, even though I was prepped for it and had Flaffy equipped with Quick Claw and Cotton Spore, so that I could have hit you with a Cotton Spore to try to bring down your speed turn 1, and then hit you with the Thunder Shock turn 2.
But instead, I opened with Bayleaf.
You outmaneuvered
me. For a loop.
So yeah, you won with one Pokemon left with about, 60% health, 64% health.
Yeah. And I would say, I was already immediately impressed with Arbok. Arbok is level 23?
Yeah.
And it's got Crunch already, and the Crunch was fucking devastating across the board.
Crunch hit you
Although
pretty
you
hard.
were not able to land it against Kadabra, fortunately. And Kadabra did take out 2 of them.
Yeah.
But you eventually got them.
I've also got a slightly under-leveled Scyther in the group, which didn't do me any favors, but such a handsome little guy, so I thought, why not?
It really is. I mean, this sprite is so fetching with the prominent wings in the back and the battle pose with the scythes.
Let's get back into it. Let's do battle number 2 and see if the outcome changes at all and see if we have need for a battle number 3. But
all right.
Bugcatchers, see you in a moment.
Round 2. Fight. Oh. I went too far.
Yeah, flew too close
to
on the sun. On
Flora.
wings of Butterfree.
Yeah, that one was much faster. That was about 20 turns. And I opened with Geodude this time, and you opened
Mayor
with
Sleep. I was Mayor Sleep.
Noctowl.
Look at me. Look at me. I am the Mayor Sleep.
I'm the Mayor Sleep now. You nailed me with a hypnosis that actually hit on the first turn.
Yep.
Which was risky, because if it didn't, I probably could have KO'd you with a rock throw.
Probably.
But it was pretty much downhill from there. We had a fun matchup between Bayleaf and Croconaw briefly.
We're just headbutting one another.
Yeah, where they both headbutted each other once. And then obviously you swapped out before I could land a Razor Leaf.
I think the real turn was
Uproar?
Noctowl's Uproar.
Yeah, you figured out that Uproar prevents sleeping. So when I threw out a Butterfree as a risk that I knew would work because it's faster to try to put it to sleep, you just uproared me.
Yeah, and I was so excited I called you a dummy
Yeah.
and then apologized.
It was pretty rude.
But then the Uproar just kept going.
Yeah, and so the Uproar went too far, and then I brought Flaffy out, and then I just Thundershocked you while you kept uproaring, and then killed it.
But I still made it through. I've got 4 active Mon.
Yeah, it was ugly.
You're out. So we're going to a third round.
Geodude opener was bad.
Yeah. We're headed to a third round. We'll see you again in a moment, bug catchers. Goodbye.
Bye.
Woo, Joshua.
Hooah.
I love these early game battles. They're so tense. You never know which way it's going to go. It swings so wildly. Every now and then, or every other turn, it seems like one of us is ahead. But
Yeah.
you finally took out my Arbok and my Noctowl, and from there it was all
Those
downhill
are your
for me.
linchpins, yeah. I was calling it on the first one you killed, as soon as you got Flaffy to go to sleep with the hypnosis, I thought it was over.
I made a couple crucial mistakes. I didn't realize that, or I was uncertain if Uproar was going to wake
realized
up
it-
your sleeping Geodude.
You realized it as you used it.
Yeah.
And then Geodude woke up, and then he used Rock Throw on Noctowl, and then that was, didn't die, but you lost at least 50% health to that.
Yep. There's a lot of switching, which I feel like those games are always a lot more tense. But
Yeah, there was this
you pulled it out in the end.
dance we were doing with me trying to have Geodude land a magnitude on Arbok, and then you would swap out Arbok to bring in Croconaw, and then I would swap out Geodude to bring in Bayleaf, etc.
And then I would bring Arbok back
Yeah,
in.
to try to land Poison Moon.
And meanwhile, they're all just taking huge hits. But you pulled it out. You got 4 active Pokemon still.
That was really good rounds.
Hell of a battle. That was one of the more fun battles we've done in a while. Yeah.
I'm excited for how this is looking so far.
Yeah, me too.
This season.
We're going to throw it back to future for us, past for you selves to see us out now.
Hey, future, past self, Tanner and Josh.
And you guys are far in our future.
Wow.
And we're far in your past, bug catchers.
We'll be different people.
So confusing. All right, we'll see you guys at the outro, and then we'll see you guys next week.
Smell you then.
Whew, Josh.
Hoochie mama.
We already debriefed, but 3-battle week. You won one, I won one, you won one. Very close, very fun.
Felt fair, yeah.
I'm loving Nuzlocke seasons for this very reason. No level cap, so I can kind of get ahead of you and make it's my handicap, you know.
Yeah.
But I still managed to just eke out a loss, and you still managed to just eke out a win.
Really close. I think later game we're going to see. I feel like you might be ascendant. We'll see.
I don't know. We'll see.
It's really gonna come down to who gets lucky, obviously, with the catches, and then what our import eggs will be.
Oh, yeah.
And how that works out.
So that's the show this week, bug catchers. Thank you for joining us. As always, my name has been Mill Tanner, a.k.a. Tanner Greenring, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host Farfjelcht, a.k.a. Joshua Fjellstead. It's been an Experience Share Pokemon podcast. Please do rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts, and do follow it everywhere that you follow podcasts, including Stitcher, Spotify, Overcast, wherever. And do recommend it to a friend if you please. If you have any friends who are into Pokemon, they'll probably get a kick out of it, and it helps us greatly to find new people to talk to each week.
And you should also give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at EXPSharePod, and on our subreddit, reddit.com/r/bugcatchers. And you should also check me out.
Jesus, shilling.
I showed up on a podcast called Gotta Snatch 'Em All that just came out last Thursday.
I was suspicious when Gotta Snatch 'Em All followed me recently.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you up to, guy?
It's a queer Pokemon podcast, so it's not
this
for
is
you.
the gay agenda.
It's not for you.
This is the gay agenda.
And that's why I didn't tell you about it, because it's not for you.
Okay. I'm going to listen anyway. Fuck you.
I think you should listen to it. It'll be good for you. Open your mind up a little.
I'm going to listen anyway. I'm going to enjoy it.
It's a great show. It's an interview-based show where Alex, the host, interviews queer, may I say, icons
That's bold.
who happen to be Pokemon fans. I was just on the episode that I believe came out on Thursday, which is tomorrow for us right now, but for all of you is last Thursday,
Still
so it's
some Days of
already
Future
there.
Past shit.
Yeah, exactly. And you can find it as just Gotta Snatch 'Em All on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere.
Go listen to it. I'm not invited to, but Alex does seem great, and I'm sure it's a very fun show.
It's fun. It's just a straight up interview, and we talk about my history with Pokemon and then about the relationship between queer people and Pokemon, and we battle also.
Did you win?
Free for all battle, and I did win.
Of course you did. You're a fucking boss hog.
It's a battle of level 100s of just whatever we want, but my theme was genderless, amorphous, and fairy type egg groups.
That's so good.
Yeah. So check that out. It's a great show. Alex is a great host. And Anthony Smith, who was on our show, friend of the pod and real life friend, also was on an episode.
That's great. Go check it out, Bugcatchers. But don't forget us.
No, and we have a guest next week, too.
This is the straight agenda. We're bringing on another straight
The
white
straights
male.
strike back.
Ryan Broderick of the Garbage Day newsletter and the Content Minds podcast will be joining us. He's a former colleague of ours at Major Media Company. He's a funny guy. We hope you like it.
I used to, with him and another coworker, create the worst things on the internet.
Every year, yeah.
List every year, so yikes. Next week might be a little weird.
Google worst things on the internet.
We might talk about some weird stuff
Yeah.
in Pokemon. So definitely get excited for that.
Yeah, he used to do a show called Internet Explorer, which is now defunct, but it was a hell of a show. If you can still find that, go and listen to that too. This has been Experience Share, Pokemon Podcast. Thank you for joining me, Josh. Thank you for joining me, Bugcatchers. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Smell you later.